Facing a midlife crisis? Find courage in everyday women's stories. Subscribe to Resilient Women Rising.
Clara Bennett was 60 years old when she stood on the shore of the lake near town, a small wooden ring on her finger and a new chapter unfolding before her. 2 years earlier, she'd been convinced. Her life was set alone, steady, predictable, but a letter had changed everything, proving that love could find her, even after she'd stopped looking for it. This is the story of how a stranger's words slipped through the cracks of her carefully built walls and gave her a second chance she hadn't dared to imagine. It began on a crisp autumn morning in her flower shop, Petals by Clara. Clara was sweeping the floor when she noticed an envelope tucked beneath a pile of neglected mail. No stamp, no return address, just her name in neat, unfamiliar handwriting. Assuming it was a customer's thank you note, she tore it open casually, but the words inside stopped her mid-motion. Dear Clara, you don't know me, but I've walked by your shop every day for months. Your flowers brighten this gray town and my gray life. I'm not good at this, but I had to tell you. You've given me hope when I thought I'd run out. My name's Henry Sullivan. If this isn't too strange, I'd love to buy you a coffee sometime. No pressure. I'll be at the cafe on Elm Street tomorrow at 3. She stood there, broom in hand, her pulse quickening. At 58, Clara had been divorced for 23 years. Her ex-husband had remarried almost immediately, leaving her to rebuild alone. She'd sworn off love, erecting walls she no longer noticed. Yet that letter stirred something, a flicker of curiosity, a hint of longing. She didn't go to the cafe the next day. The idea felt absurd. Stranger's note couldn't upend her life. But the words lingered. Who was Henry? Why her? By nightfall, her mind was a tangle of doubt and wonder. The following morning, another envelope appeared under her door. Dear Clara, I waited yesterday. Guess I scared you off. Sorry about that. I'm 62, widowed 2 years ago, and terrible at talking to people. But your shop feels like a light in the dark. I'll try one more time coffee tomorrow, same place, same time. If you don't come, I'll leave you be. Widowed, that word struck a chord. Clara understood loss, not the same kind, but the hollow ache of it. Her divorce had carved out a piece of her, and she'd filled the void with work. Maybe Henry wasn't so different. Against her better judgment, she decided to meet him. At 3 p.m., Clara stepped into Elm Street Cafe. She spotted him instantly, a tall man with silver hair, sitting by the window with a nervous smile and a cup of black coffee. He stood as she approached, nearly toppling his chair. Clara? His voice was soft but steady. That's me, she replied, gripping her purse tightly. Henry, right? He nodded, and they sat. The first moments were clumsy, two people unaccustomed to connection, stumbling through pleasantries. Then he said, I've been meaning to write you for months. Took me 3 drafts to get that first letter right. She laughed, the tension easing. 3 drafts? I'm flattered. You should be, he said, his eyes crinkling. You're not an easy woman to forget. Henry was a retired school teacher who loved poetry and gardening. He'd lost his wife to cancer 2 years prior and hadn't known how to move forward until he began passing Clara's shop. Over coffee, he explained how her vibrant window displays reminded him of life's beauty. She shared how she'd turned her pain into petals, each bouquet, a fragment of her resilience. That coffee stretched into a walk, then a dinner a week later. Henry was kind, patient, and quietly funny. They'd sit on the shop's back porch, sipping tea as he read her Whitman or Frost. For the first time in years, Clara felt hope stirring. But the path wasn't without bumps. A month into their budding relationship, Henry didn't show up for their usual Friday dinner. No call, no note, nothing. Clara waited an hour before going home, old fears resurfacing. He's reconsidered. I'm too much or not enough. The next day, he appeared at the shop, pale and holding a single daisy, her favorite. I'm sorry, Clara, he said. My daughter called last night. She's struggling, and I had to see her. I should have told you. Your daughter? He'd mentioned her once a grown woman, an hour away, but sparingly. She's had a rough year, he explained. Divorce, job loss, she needed me, and I panicked. I'm not used to balancing this, he gestured between them. Clara wanted to be supportive, but doubt crept in. Henry, I've been alone a long time. I don't know how to share someone either. What if this gets too hard? He met her gaze, unwavering. Then we figure it out together. I don't want to lose you, Clara. She took the daisy and they talked deeply, honestly, about his guilt over moving on, her fear of abandonment. It was raw and messy, but it forged a stronger bond. Winter brought new tests. Henry's daughter moved in with him temporarily, shrinking their time together. Clara would close the shop to find him drained, torn, between fatherhood and their relationship. She began to retreat, afraid of losing herself. One night, she told him she needed space. He didn't fight her, just nodded and left. For 2 weeks, she buried herself in her flowers, convincing herself solitude was better. But the shop felt emptier without his visits, the porch lonelier without his voice. Then, on a snowy evening, he returned with a letter. Dear Clara, I've never been good at letting grief, of guilt, of you. I'm trying to be the man you deserve. My daughter's moving out soon, and I'd like to start again, if you'll have me. She opened the door, snowflakes dotting his coat, and pulled him inside. You're an idiot for standing out there, she said, smiling through tears. But I'm an idiot for letting you go. By spring, they'd found their footing, 2 survivors stronger for their scars. Henry helped her plant a garden behind the shop, and she taught him to arrange flowers. On her 60th birthday, he took her to the lake and gave her a small wooden box he'd carved. Inside was a ring, not a proposal, he said, but a promise. To build something with you, he told her, whatever that looks like. She slipped it on, the water lapping at the shore, and knew they'd crafted their own. Love imperfect, hard-earned, and uniquely theirs. Clara's story began with a life she'd built alone at 58, but a letter rewrote her future. Love, she learned, doesn't follow a timeline. Sometimes it waits quietly, blooming when you least expect it.